A lot of you should be grateful that Carmelo Hayes is not getting the push that you guys want him to get. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they view Carmelo Hayes so much differently. Melo was a Shawn Michaels guy in NXT. He was carrying NXT for a good year before Trick Williams came into the picture and took over. And then once Melo got that call up to SmackDown, yes, he had to get tested in terms of facing the champion Cody Rhodes on his first night on SmackDown. Of course, he had to lose. But ever since then, it's been clear where Carmelo stands in the pecking order. Okay, in the rankings. He is ranked in the middle of that card. And honestly, that's where he needs to be. Carmelo Hayes does not need to be a main eventer. He does not need to get a huge spotlight on him. The way I look at Carmelo Hayes right now is, to me, he is the new Dolph Ziggler. The new Dolph Ziggler, because Dolph Ziggler was a great seller in the ring, was a great athlete. He put on the best matches every time, but he was underutilized. He was being almost buried when he would get to the top of the card and face guys like Randy Orton and John Cena, only to be knocked down. Okay? With Dolph Ziggler, he always looked good in defeat. And people had an outrage for Dolph Ziggler for years, like, oh, they got to use him better. They got to make him world champion. They got to make him the face, this and that and the third. I sense that those same arguments, those same outrage from years ago with Dolph Ziggler, the same complaints with a Dolph Ziggler is now happening for Carmelo Hayes. If it hasn't, it will in the future. Like I said, you guys better be grateful that he's not in the Money in the Bank contract match. He don't need to win the Money in the Bank. It's not his time. But if he were to win Money in the Bank and you guys had this strong push for him, most likely he would be Austin Theoried. Okay? He would be another failed Money in the Bank cash-in like Austin Theory. Be glad that he's not getting everything so fast. Be glad that Miz is his mentor. Be glad that he's even in a angle with the Miz where Miz is coaching him. Okay, any young talent that gets associated with the Miz, their career has more legs to stand on than as opposed to when they're by themselves and they're just doing nothing. Melo has a spot on the roster. They gave him the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy, whatever you want to call it, right? The memorial trophy of Andre the Giant. They gave that to him, even though it doesn't mean a lot. It's still something. That is a consolation prize. They now have him feuding with Aleister Black. Now, a lot of you have been conditioned to think and believe that Aleister Black would just straight up beat Carmelo Hayes. After, having their first match, you would think Aleister just beat Carmelo and move on. Nope. That's not what happened. Aleister Black and Carmelo Hayes had their first match together, and it ended in a disqualification. Miz got involved, right? So at least in this feud, they're making Carmelo Hayes look a little bit more competitive and not just feeding him to Aleister Black. Eventually, Melo gonna have to take that L to Aleister Black, but they're building up to him losing to Aleister instead of just having him outrightly get defeated and get buried. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Melo is in a better spot. Not in the spot that you want him to be in. But it's a good thing he's not booked to win Money in the Bank. I'm glad he's not in that ladder match, because then you guys, the IWC, would be pulling for him to win Money in the Bank. And then if he were to win Money in the Bank, then what? He's going to go on a losing streak. Okay? And then he's going to have a failed cash-in. It's the same thing with Austin Theory. Austin Theory was given a lot so quick, too soon, and he fell down. They had him lose the cash-in match. He cashed in on the mid-card belt and lost. I don't want to see the same thing happen to a Carmelo Hayes, to where, he cashes in on, he tries to cash in on Jacob Fatu and fails. Then at that point, he's in a way worse spot than where he was before. It's better what they're doing with him now. If you gave him the briefcase and you gave him a bigger spotlight, it just would not click. There's just certain talent you cannot give everything so quick to, because then you'll start to see a lot of their flaws and a lot of their weaknesses will be exposed. All right, that was the mistake that Vince made with Austin Theory. He got exposed way too quick, and at that time, he wasn't ready to be pushed. But he was given everything so quick. So you guys want that for Carmelo Hayes. You want him to get everything so fast, so quick, only for him to fall and have a hard time recovering to where he once was. Nope, I like the fact that he's in the mid-card. I like the fact that he is teaming with The Miz. Won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He's feuding with Aleister Black. He's going to lose, of course. But I'd rather have him be in that spot than to be pushed so hard to the moon, and then 1 second later, his career goes down the pits. And he is in the same spot as Austin Theory, having a hard time recovering from being buried. So it's a good thing that he is in the spot that he's in. The reason why I say he's like Dolph Ziggler is because anytime he wrestles, he's going to steal the show. Right? Almost the same size as a Dolph Ziggler. And eventually he'll have his moment. Eventually he'll break through like a Dolph did. But Dolph Ziggler, when he broke through, it only lasted for a couple months. And that was it. So Carmelo Hayes, you got to take your time with him. You can't give him everything so fast, so soon, and give him the briefcase because Triple H is not going to give him a title. If this was Shawn Michaels booking Carmelo, yeah, he would definitely be a Money in the Bank winner, and cash in to win the world title. In Shawn Michaels' eyes, Carmelo Hayes is a main eventer, but in Triple H's eyes, Carmelo Hayes is a mid-carder at best. And to be honest, that's where he needs to be in for the foreseeable future until it's time to pull the trigger on him and give him that push. But for right now, he's fine where he's at. Don't make it worse for Carmelo Hayes to where y'all get so outraged on his booking and you want to, give him all this support of like, oh, you need to push him to the moon and make him a main eventer and this and that. It's like, hold up for a minute. He's not ready for that position. This is not NXT. This is not Shawn Michaels' roster. Carmelo Hayes is playing in a whole different field with a whole different batch of talent that is more favored by Triple H.